put Baboka off of his comfort, just because he's the one who does like the massive amount of space for this team. I was actually curious to see if IG was going to ban the Wisp, and they did, because everybody else is doing it versus EG. So
yeah, and they've gotten rid of the Lifestealer, which I guess is big respect for Arteezy as well.
So they're leaving the mag. That's
that's kind of interesting too, is that we haven't seen Lifestealer do very well at this tournament whatsoever. And you know,
we have two great players on it though in this game, so it's very difficult for them to leave it.
And I'm wondering if something happened during scrims or something like that where Crit's Wisp is just an insta-ban. I think they play it very well, and if there's a team that I would say that plays around Wisp very well, it's Evil Geniuses. Yeah. So I'm wondering if that element alone was a big thing.
So they go for
IG have gone back for the Trim, which they did in that last game against Secret. It does leave some tasty options here for EG. Monkey King is still there.
Monkey King was left.
The Magnus
was left.
They could take both if they really wanted to.
Monkey King has, like we said, the win rate on that hero is
not
looking the greatest. Still around 20% or so.
I feel it also just ends up being a comfort pick because everybody was playing it in the previous patches, so everybody really knows how that hero works. And it's kind of one of the things we discussed, off stream a bunch, was once you get a Basher, that hero becomes 10 times more effective.
Okay, I think FogG pointed this out yesterday with Evil Geniuses. You felt like they really valued that Nature's Prophet. Yeah,
they valued the Nature's Prophet, and also like, today they showed it too, the Wind Ranger. Like, I wouldn't be too surprised if they even grab it here. They did it earlier.
I think Furion is the offlaner they've been running the most, even in scrims, from what I've heard. They really like to be able to pressure the enemy safe lane, and Furion's great for that. You can use the Treant to block the camps, you can pull the wave around. The extra base damage he got in this patch just makes him incredibly strong in 1v1s.
Okay.
Wow, an early pick Invoker. Now this is very early for a number of different reasons. Firstly, the fact that Crit doesn't normally pick up carry mid heroes in the first two picks, almost ever. He's trying to save them to third, fourth.
They haven't ran a support Furion, have they?
And secondly, we don't.
They haven't, but Zai's played it.
Zai's played the support Furion too, so I think that could be something that they like leave in the back of their pocket.
Sprout is underrated for Sunstrikes because after say 5 minutes into the game, only the carrier will really have a Quelling Blade. Everyone else can get Sunstrike.
I mean, the only reason they pick it two is that they're scared that it's going in the second phase ban.
Oh,
right?
absolutely, yeah, definitely.
Because it would go.
Yes, when you're playing it Smell, you definitely want to look out for that Invoker.
Interesting. IG have gone for the Ember.
The Ember Spirit versus Invoker matchup's actually, it's a very delicate matchup. If you leave that Ember alone, he only has 1 armor. Even with a PMS, this Alacrity Invoker will right-click him to death. But Ember has these really strong timings, say level 3, where he can get level 2 Fire Shield, he can run at Invoker, maybe even get a solo kill. Invoker is a lot more susceptible to ganks, but personally I really like Invoker in the matchup, so I'm curious to see what IG has planned for this Ember.
Yeah, and it looks like with that first ban, Spectre, it looks like they're going to focus on Burning's heroes in this next phase. I think they've seen what happens when you give him a hard, late game, hard carry, and how much that can do with all that farm.
That hero's owning as well. The win rate on him is ridiculous right now. I think it's like 80-something% or something. It's like very high. Same thing with Slark that we saw, which EG did play. So I was actually going to say that I thought we might see either the Spectre and the Slark coming out in this matchup.
It's just very strong with Treant because Treant secures his lane, the armor blocks damage, and that damage that's blocked actually gets dispersed. So you do extra damage to the living armor. And of course, it's been a natural Furion counter for a long time. Just haunt, dagger him, you can run through the trees and solo kill him.
So a little bit of a mix-up here from Crit in terms of the way that he's drafting, not just the heroes, but the way, the style. Which I guess is good because you get too predictable, Fog, can't you?
Yeah, I like the opener. I mean, like you said, they don't want the Invoker to get banned out. They played with it earlier. Sumail played it very well. It's one of his best heroes too.
Yeah.
Has a lot of versatility. So Klink's ban out.
I guess they must have seen that Arteezy game and really thought that, that's something that's super effective.
So they've only played it once, right?
I believe so.
Yes.
They traditionally like Klinks on Arteezy though. It's a bit interesting to me because I think Treant is quite good against both Nyx and Klinks. This Treant armor versus assassin type heroes, it tends to just barely save them. Against Klinks you have something through BKB. But I can sort of see why they're banning it. If a Klinks goes to someone, they have 2 globals with it. Maybe, actually that's probably the idea, right? Assassin plus 2 globals will outweigh your tree armor, and you'll be able to kill them still.
And then Nyx versus, the Nyx ban for your Ember, just to protect him. I mean, it's so easy to get the Carapace on him and just get the easy setups for the Invoker Sunstrike.
So Crit goes back for a Windrunner.
Do you guys know if they always ran it dual offlane, the Windrunner support?
I don't know. I don't think they always run a dual offlane. No, I think.
off my head, I
and Zai's played it as well, right?
I believe Zai played it more as a roamer in the last game that they played.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think they think it's a versatile pick, and if, you know, they want to, you know, utilize that hero and try and run around, or, you know, try and pressure that safe lane carry.
Always gives you deep push and a solid, not like solid disable, but.
Yeah, I'm wondering if EG will pick something like Rasta. What they really need is a solid stun in the early game that they can Sunstrike off. Invoker's a hero that even if you get shut down in lane, like say IG pick this early Ember Spirit, EG know they're committed to sort of committing more heroes to kill the Invoker in mid lane. Instead of helping the Invoker, what you can do is you can just set up Sunstrike kills in our lanes. He gets a last hit, so he'll get a lot of golden XP and he'll come back in the game that way. But in order to do that, EG needs something like maybe a Rasta, something like that.
Yeah, last time I think they played it against, it was just Newbee the series before, and they crit played at Rubik.
Yeah.
Well, I think what IG wants to do is they want to just... Oh, there you go. They pick. I was going to say they want to pick their other support here. Phoenix is a pretty neat choice. He's surprisingly good at ganking mid just because he has such long range on his slow, and Tree and Phoenix is a classic support combo.
Combo.
You just have so much team fight. You can protect that egg, and Tree makes up for all Phoenix's laning problems.
High magic. They get more team fight with it, which they have pretty strong team fight compared to EG, which doesn't really have crazy amount. Veil builder.
Yeah.
So now it's like either the Ember can go for like a different type of build if the Phoenix wants to go for it.
Yeah, for sure. Or, I mean,
or vice
Ember
versa,
just getting the
or
Veil,
Ember
just
can just
buffs
get
up
the Veil.
Phoenix.
Yeah.
That way you can get your Shivas, you can get your Midas. I think Treant as a hero, we haven't seen it too much. It's been banned a lot. People don't like playing versus that hero. One thing that can be said for the hero, though, is he gives a lot of utility, but he does 0 damage. So you do want these high support damage heroes like Phoenix. Like even Ember is a high damage hero for him. So
yeah,
it's pretty cool how that synergizes right now.
Yeah, I'm curious. This is the last. They ran this last, I believe, against Team Secret. Obviously, that one didn't go so well. No. But I'm curious to see if this draft is going to turn out a little bit different.
They could.
There's the Rubik.
They could also still be like trying to like get the comfort of it too, because we did see like a couple times it looked like they landed the ultimate since like the Supernova was just like off timing to get it off. So maybe just still trying to get the hang of this kind of combo
this
from
could
IG.
This could be a little live practice.
It could.
As it were.
It really could be.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that hero has a lot of potential. We were talking about the damage and through Fire Spirits and dive and it kind of being like a natural Monkey King counter. So if maybe that crit decided to go that way, he would have been able to get away with that.
I would like to point out, I liked how EG picked their support there. As second pick, what you generally want to do is you want to 10th pick the hero that you think will win you the game. First pick tends to have a lot more counter picks. They have a counter pick as their second pick, third pick, and fourth pick. So unless your 10th hero has extremely high impact, first pick will have a big draft advantage. As first pick, basically your fourth and fifth pick are the same. You don't get to see their last hero before you pick the 8 and 9 hero picks. So you want to generally pick what you think will get banned by the enemy in their last ban here.
So they go back for a Bat Rider. Yeah, XXS, I was going to say, his usual heroes are kind of taken out of the pool already, so...
I haven't been seeing Bat Rider have that much success, but if there's a lineup that Bat Rider will find success with, it's when you have 3 AoE heroes as your first 3 picks.
Yeah.
Bat Rider as a hero is generally a bit single target for this meta right now, in my opinion. But when you have Ember Spirit, Treant, and Phoenix, that's not really a problem.
They're very magic damage oriented right now, though.
They
have
are.
No physical really on the side of IG.
I was definitely about to say, I thought the Rubik pick was a little bit of that as well. Null field just being able to negate a lot of that damage.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, I'd like to see IG pick up a physical damage dealer for burning here. Perhaps even Anti-Mage could come into play here.
Yeah, versus Fiorina and Invoker, and I mean,
Windrunner's not bad versus him, but it's a support Windrunner.
Yeah.
It
gets banned out.
It gets banned. All right.
Yeah, I definitely like that pick a lot, and it's going to be interesting because they're both going to be picking their carries here at the end and trying to figure out which each of them think what's best going to be fitting their lineup.
EG is just a tiny bit restricted in the carry pool just because if they put Treant Bat Rider up there, you might have some troubles with Rubik Windrunner supports. They're going to want to pick something that can be able to contest a Bat Rider. Maybe IG will ban something like a Weaver here or one of those heroes that are really good versus Bat Rider in lane.
Do you think, depending on what they see, they might look at something like an aggro Triad, potentially?
On IG?
On IG.
Oh,
or
I love
EG.
this ban. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you. Just the Drow Ranger ban. For
That
ranged
is a
heroes.
good ban.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was really good, I think.
To be honest, they have okay heroes versus Drow,
Yeah,
but that hero is scary when you get in a lineup like this.
definitely. So they go for PA, hard carry.
Sort of curious why they banned the Drow then, though.
Yeah, if
They're
they were
gonna
gonna
pick
go, if
PA
they were gonna
anyways.
pick the PA anyway, yeah. And they EG does go back for that Slark. I mean that
I
hero,
like it.
85 like 80 or 90% win rate when it's been picked here. So
It's a hero that's good versus Batrider. That'll free up your supports to actually be able to play the game. You don't want your supports just sitting there hitting a Batrider.
high scaling lineup as well. Tricore
I think it's just a comfort pick for Arteezy.
burns the tree armor as well easily with Dark Pact.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's something that you always want in your draft when you play against these refraction and tree and armor type heroes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get some predictions. We'll start with Fogged.
Oh, the switch up. I'm gonna go for.
I was looking at Conrad, but I just want to spare him right now. I want to give him every opportunity to pick the right team this time.
Okay. I'm gonna have to go with EG. I think they have their like very comfort heroes, even though they look like they're drafting a little bit like kind of one-dimensional in a way. Like this, they're doing the Furion, Rubik, and Wind Ranger again. I think with the Sumail Invoker, it's enough.
Okay.
I'm
Fogg
gonna-
goes with EG. Ellie?
I'm going to go with EG as well.
Yep.
I really like how much outspam they have on their supports combined with a Slark to sort of get a lot of vision, get pick-offs with this Invoker Sunstrike. It's hard to bet against Sumail's Invoker for me, to be honest.
Okay.
I think he plays it very well.
All right.
And I'm going to have to go with EG as well.
Oh, no.
Hopefully I don't ruin
Not like
everything for
this.
everybody.
So hold on, let me just get this right. The EG fanboy goes with EG. The former EG player goes with EG.
He's a former
and
EG
the,
player
They're
too.
both
Yeah,
former
actually,
EG.
well,
No, I
sort
wasn't.
of.
And
And another former EG person goes with.
EG. And I'll explain why really quick. They ran this lineup against Newbee and I thought it was really good. This exact same lineup.
Ooh.
What a surprise. The three ex-EG people have all gone for Evil Geniuses. Luckily, in the commentary booth, there isn't an EG fanboy in sight. Let's head over there now for game one with Toby 1.
Yeah, luckily we're not North American bias. So Cinderin, without the EG bias, who do you think has a good draft?
I can't really pick a favorite based on draft, to be honest. I think it's pretty even. I get to say that when I'm not on the panel.
Yeah.
Then I don't have to choose.
Yeah.
What I will say, however, is that the two lineups have very different styles. And that is also why it gets a little bit tricky. You can't just say, you know, it depends a lot on the execution of the first 10 minutes and who gets to play their style in the game. EG's lineup is way more oriented around split push and just pressuring the lanes all the time, whereas IG have exceptionally good team fight with the Treant Phoenix combination. They have the catch of the Batrider. And of course, they have the damage to go with it through both Ember and the PA. Interesting for me, though, like it seems like IG have completely changed over the last few games. They were really dominant, started out 2-0, I think. They won their first 4 games. Then they hit a bit of a bump against Secret, and it looks like they're rethinking themselves a bit here. So what I'm wondering is, are they trying to learn something more here, or are they starting to doubt their other strategies? Because hero like Magnus was available in the first phase. They didn't go for that this time.
Yeah.
There was another hero that we noticed that I'm forgetting here that was available to them.
We're talking about the Juggernaut was the other one.
There was a Juggernaut that they could have also gone for.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because they banned out the spec instead, so they went for the... Yeah, but without the Empower
And
buff
they're
up,
playing
which was-
Batrider on XXS, which hasn't really been successful this tournament.
But they didn't really have another choice for him unless they went for the Magnus. Like, that was the only other choice that would be able to get around the Treants. Because, like, what else? Clockwork or question mark? What do you try and run there?
There's always options. But yeah, it's definitely something different here. Very important for, I think, mainly IG, I would say, definitely want both their Ember and PA to get off to a good start here, because the problem is if EG get the better laning stage and start snowballing a bit,
Oh, this could be nice
the
for mid.
split push can become a problem really early.
OP's up a fair way now. Okay, now Zai hasn't leveled anything up. I thought for a moment he might try and combo for a Shackle, but then you realize that Sumail only just cracked level 2.
Yeah.
And didn't have much to work with.
It's good harass. Oh, he missed the power shot on the Flask. That would have been really nice for him. So OP is still full HP. Bottom lane. They're actually running the Treant in the safe lane as a support here, together with the Phoenix. This is obviously a great and very strong tri-lane. Phoenix and Treant together can do a lot of damage and have good slows. Treant's base stats are amazing as a lane zoning support. But Furion is one of those heroes that are annoying to deal with as Treant, on the other hand. He has 1 armor. He didn't go for a stout shield or anything of that sort, so it's kind of two-way bullying.
Yeah, he went for the Leech Seed instead, so just tries to use the fists, and the first time he did that, he took more damage. The trees attacked him, and Bobica lost just as much as Universe did.
And Q went for Fire Spirits, so not opting for the repositioning slow in Icarus dive that I do think they could maybe force this Nature's Prophet out of lane by just skilling all 3 of their slows and just going at him right away, pretending that the treants don't exist, but maybe they're worried that it's going to disrupt their lane equilibrium too much, and obviously want to focus on getting Burning off to a good start here. Nice pressure from Sumail in mid. I do think it was AUI who said on the panel that he really likes this matchup for Invoker. I think he said that at least. In my book, at least, this is definitely a good lane matchup for Invoker. Invoker.
Oh, that's Sunstrike.
Ooh.
Yes.
I don't think it's a kill.
No. It's just that feeling as you go over. Like OP knew the salve didn't. Sumail knew the salve didn't come out. It was just the boots on the Ember Spirit.
If you're a player like Sumail, we've obviously seen him come back from bad laning stages in the past. Very memorable DAC, I think 2 years ago, on a Storm Spirit. But regardless, the Invoker hero, just the hero itself, really has some bad matchups in lane sometimes. But Ember Spirit is one of those heroes that doesn't really pressure most mid heroes that much until it hits a couple of key levels. So that means Sumail should be getting a decent timing on his Midas, and that is arguably the key hero for Evil Geniuses in this lineup. If you're picking a core that early, if you're picking your mid laner as the second pick, you have a lot of faith in it and want to try to give it a good game.
Is that still going to be enough, though? Like, we talk about the Hand of Midas, but space has to be created by probably your other critical one, the Slark, going around and ganking. Is this really working when Crit's still leeching a lot of experience on this top lane?
I think so if they go for like I was saying, the split push approach has to be what EG are aiming at right now. When the supports on IG hit level 6, the team fights will get difficult for a while. But what EG can do is they can try to play this lane push style where maybe Arteezy goes for a fast Shadow Blade. At least it looks like he's not getting Midas, starting out with the treads in his quick buy right now. Generally, if Slarks get Midas, they go Brown Boots into the Midas and get it as fast as possible. But this, to me, smells like treads into Aquila and then Shadow Blade. And then maybe he can create opportunities around the map. If he has the Shadow Blade and the Sunstrike, that's a kill on almost any hero on IG's lineup, those two heroes combined. Even through Living Armor, can just remove it with the Dark Pact like the panel mentioned. I think that's the right approach here. And Furion, similar, can join, can push out the lanes. Tools are definitely there for EG. Sorry, I used to always call him Nature's Prophet. I don't know where this comes from again. His name is Tequoia.
Tequoia?
Tequoia, actually.
Where does Tequoia come from? You don't...
I don't know, but his name is Tequoia.
Is that in Dota 2 or in Warcraft?
At least it was in Dota 2.
Because he was Furion in Warcraft.
Yes. Where's his name?
Maybe it's just that weird Danish.
He is called no, he is definitely called Tequoia, but
is it like we start calling Windranger Lirale?
I don't think she has that name either, does she?
Yeah,
Dota?
she does.
She does have that name, Dota. Okay.
Well, actually, no, she did.
Yeah, she does.
She did because when
Lirelei, it's right.
Yeah.
Focus Fire says it's Lirelei. So yeah.
Yeah.
Getting the important stuff in place here. Oh, nice tornado mid from Sumail, breaking the Flame Guard.
Make life a little harder for OP, but there's no one rotating onto him. Instead, it's the top lane where Zai's moved up to him. With the creep wave moving forward, Arteezy with treads starts cutting through the tree line, looking for XXS. And, well, Zai will find him. Into the level 1 shackle, but got to be careful coming up so close. Boboka is making his rotation up. Thanks to the Observer Ward that was already planted by IG, they knew the Wind Ranger was up to this. EG actually have no vision on the Radiant side of the river. They only have that one defensive ward in the mid lane.
So this is fairly slow here in the start, and everyone is just farming, more or less. Like, a few attempts have been made, but nothing too successful when it comes to pressuring your opponent away. Ideally, I would say EG want to start trying to pressure towers before these supports hit level 6 on IG. So I think soon we're going to see when Universe hits level 6, it's likely that there will be a support rotation. Either he will come to their lane and try to get a kill on the whichever hero is in the top lane, then pushing that tower, or they're going to go for a double support rotation to bottom with the Nature's Prophet joining in for that. I think just sitting back and keeping on farming, just playing this style, will give IG the spike that they're looking for in about 4 minutes on their supports. And EG could make the first good move here very soon.
Crit's looking for the Observer Ward, but it's a little bit more unusual for the early game. He's got it up on the hillside, so XXS just starts with a sticky napalm. OP. Now the Flame Wreck will pull him back in range of the Searing Chains, but Zai connects onto the Shackle. Rubik, well, with a little bit of help, TPing in from Universe. XXS, now he fireflies right out through the Roshan pit. So the first rotation in from the Nature's Prophet. You know, TP straight back down to bottom lanes doesn't miss out on much, but allows Burning and Q to push into the tier 1 tower and do some decent damage.
Great shackle shot there from Zai, definitely saves the Rubik. However, by virtue of IG making that aggressive move and forcing rotation, it is not EG making the move. And as you said, a lot of the tower bottom is now gone. Burning has brought this down to about a third together with Q.
TPs are coming in. The shackles!
nice.
Zai! Perfect tool X. Hits on with Phoenix, getting the Sunstrike follow-up and Burning. Oh, no real way to escape this unless evasion is his friend, which it is not. Zai and Samael get the kills.
That was a very, very nice shackle shot from Zai. I think if you're IG in that position, you're not really considering that assault angle at that point in time. So if you're thinking about, there might be a shackle shot, they're probably thinking he could come from the front or maybe from the right. But Zai made a very good rotation coming in from the Shrine side and caught them off guard there. And 2 kills out of that. I thought they were only going to get the Phoenix, but they actually got both. The kill on Burning is especially big in addition to defending their tower. So
and
this
Crit went for a quick movement straight after. Like, they smoked up, he drew a line in towards the mid. They want to move and shift the pressure from bottom lane into mid. Have Invictus Gaming rotating for them with Nature's Prophet TPing out. You do actually have the Icarus dive. Colsnap's making it difficult. Down he goes. And Q the power shot and the attack. It reaches. And the Phoenix will fall. OP's moving over under the cover of Invis and Flame Guard up. EG will back up, be happy with the 1 kill.
it's very important for IG at this point that this doesn't turn into a significant tower push. Of course, they do have the Treant who can heal their towers up again. He doesn't have living armor skilled, however, so this is that sweet spot for EG to get that done. But I wonder when we're going to see, or rather what we're going to see from this. But actually, Bad Rider does have the Blink Dagger on Quickbuy, and he's only 700 away. So this move from XXS that will really start their lineup off. We haven't talked too much about them in terms of starting fights. That we said they want to do team fights, which they definitely do, but they need to set up the conditions for a team fight in the first place. Bad Rider Blink Dagger is a great way of doing it. Speaking of him, he's going to get jumped here by the Slark.
The Sunstrike's going to be off target, however, and Arteezy can't keep him controlled. And XXS tries to make the most out of it. Firefly farm while he can.
Still closing in on that. So the Blink Dagger on Bat Rider is important. Levels on Ember into this Veil, also very important. Something to note about the changes to Phoenix. I can't remember which patch it was, if it was actually 7.0. But you might remember Sunray used to be pure damage. It is magical. So it deals more damage now than before if you do have a Veil, which OP will be picking up mainly for himself. But of course, all this amplification adds up. Great for the Bat Rider Firefly as well. So I like it. We've seen a bit of a change in the way people play Ember. A lot of Embers rush the Boots of Travel. But in this game, very clear what IG want to do. Yeah. They want to look for these fights.
Oh, you said it yourself, like, EG is going to come to you. You don't want to let them, like, force down the towers. And you can see that through the building from the Nature's Prophet, building into that early drums. So he understands he needs to give the aura, not just go straight for a Hand of Midas or anything like that, the greed farm-style build.
No, we generally see this build from Universe, I think, in his Nature's Prophet games. This has been his go-to, going for the drums and then Midas, so that you hit that very quick early power spike compared to other heroes in the game, and then you want to utilize this. It plays very well into the idea of pushing towers, having this drum for your Treants and for the other heroes that group up with you naturally when you go for kills. For now, it's just using it to farm, though, and the question is how EG set up a fight. Their catch is still limited. Slark doesn't have the Shadow Blade yet. Windranger's level 4. Obviously, Rubik doesn't have a Blink, so they might just be waiting for this Arteezy Shadow Blade, which is coming in at about 500.
The pressure they're applying on bottom lane, however, may just be enough to force EG to fight down here. You have Prophet as well as Windranger, but the Observer and Sentry's behind, so EG know exactly what they're up against if this does happen. And yeah, Universe is out. He's going to join Arteezy. Tier 1 for Tier 1 tower, trigger a drum charge even for these Treants, and that will be enough to bring down the tower. So a 1-for-1 trade-off, Burning and Arteezy getting the last hits. Such an even matchup between them all. The only person who has the advantage is Arteezy on the net worth, sitting just shy of 6k.
He has a fairly big advantage, actually. This is what happens when Slark gets completely free lane. This is very, very early. Having 11-minute Shadow Blade, Treads, Aquila, and Magic Wand is exceptional. He has 100 CS min 11. So Arteezy is ready to go, and I think that is the play for EG now. Like, get him activated, let the Nature's Prophet and the Invoker farm the jungle and the lanes, see if you can get a couple picks here and there. And especially, you're looking at Burning, and they have, of course, checked him out. They know he's going for this Battle Fury. He showed the Ring of Health and the Broadsword in his inventory. This hero is food right now. He has, like, absolutely no health. If he gets jumped by the Slark and a Sunstrike, he's dead.
Oh, crit.
This
He was
guy
just
can also
walking
die.
up. He saw the Spirit, but with both Burning as well as OP there, they have the damage. Burning's trying to TP out. The Sunstrike, OP was almost tanking it as well to try and save Burning. Wasn't enough. Bobrica, now he's the man who has to fight up against Arteezy. The Sunray's turned on. The Spirit jump, OP blocking up Arteezy, even inside the Shadow Dance. Arteezy just has to leg it away. But a 1-for-1 trade-off. You're very happy with that if you're EG.
Yeah, it's a great trade. They lose their Rubik. Arguably, maybe Crit didn't even need to be there before Arteezy got in and scouted for him, but at the end of the day, he kind of just baited IG into a bad position, and they got that key kill. And you just saw it there. I don't even know if... I think Crit dealt 0 damage to the PA. She was full health, gets jumped by Slark and Sunstrike, and he dies. And that Sunstrike was even split with the Ember.
Yep.
So they have way overkill on him right now, and there's nothing in
It's
sight
Max
for Burning.
Exort. He's already done it.
This is looking very, very good for EG this early into the game.
But now it's IG's turn to fight. They smoke up and invade into the Dire jungle. They got that Blink Dagger of XXS they really want to be using. So they... Actually, it's the Dire who scan a little bit closer towards their own Ancients on the south side.
Oh, it just expired when they were about to get in there. So XXS will avoid it.
He's still waiting for someone from EG to defend. OP and Bobrica just pushing it. The power shot's looking for something else. And okay, IG are really uncertain about this. And understandably so. They need to play underneath the sentry ward. Arteezy's just on the edge of the detection of the ward. Now he'll walk into it.
There's a couple of problems for IG right now that they have to play around. Their Treant isn't level 6. It's 13.5 minutes in. He's still got 2/3 of a level to go. So Bobrica having a pretty bad game by his standards in terms of levels. And when Burning is going for this farming build on PA, he's not combat ready. So this fight in mid was effectively a 4-on-5 where he wasn't even there. And that's what I was talking about earlier. I don't know if IG are a little bit out of their comfort zone in some of these games, but this doesn't look as sharp as they did on the first day. Especially in terms of the synchronization between their lineup. This seems a bit out of place, that they want to try to team fight, and then their PA builds a split pushing build. Whereas when they played OG, for example, and they went for the anti-mage with the ultra farming build, they were dodging like no tomorrow in that game, playing full split push themselves. But this is like 2 directions, and it makes me wonder, is the only playstyle they play Burning on just like farm, 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 farm?
Maybe.
Because that won't work every game necessarily.
Bobrica found a friend, started with the Leech Seed, then went in for the punch. Universe TPing out, but the damage should be more than enough. Burning will find the kill.
That's big for him. That's his Battle Fury almost. He's going to get it. Unless OP steals his 2 last hits with the illusions. Pretty sure B-God isn't pleased with that. Is he going to sell something? No, he's going to wait a little.
He's got it.
He'll have it in a second. So Arteezy's going to be pushing out this top lane. I think what he's thinking about here is if he shoves in this lane, he can place a good lane ward and then maybe make a rotation to another lane. But he needs to be careful. He didn't get the Dark Pack off.
Blink Lasso, have they got enough damage with the Sunray? Arteezy going to go inside the Shadow Dance, but all you got to do is follow the puff of smoke and keep the sticky napalms up. But Arteezy, it'll wear off, and now they try and turn it around, and with the Sunstrike, Samael gets a rebuttal.
That's just on the edge there. The max level Exort. It's so much damage right now. 475 pure damage on that Sunstrike. That's half of Phoenix's health.
And I was expecting like another TP to come in from Invictus Gaming before they attempted that, but XXS really believed he had that. But without any kind of dust, like he's carrying at the moment double infused raindrops on this Batrider and not having any dust to speak of.
So what are IG going to do now? I'm very curious about their plan since the Battle Fury is now online for Burning, and they now have their level 6 on Treant. So this is where options open up that they didn't have before. In my opinion, their lineup just got like twice as strong by having Overgrowth, because now they can protect their egg. The only hero that can realistically really get hits off would be the Slark Dark Pacting off the Overgrowth and then attacking. Everyone else will more than likely get hit or not want to really run into this Ember right now and the Batrider. There's going to be a lot of fire everywhere that they have to get through. And it looks like Burning is working toward Deso now. So a bit
Full
of both,
combat?
Bit of both worlds here with the farming item of the Battle Fury and then the combat item in Deso. In a way, Deso is more or less mandatory on PA right now, the way the hero is played. But this Battle Fury I haven't seen for a long time. This is very unusual.
That's what happens when
Last time I doubted Burning, he ruined my predictions. So let's just say this is good.
Hey, this time he doesn't actually have the Battle Fury plus the Empower. That Sunstrike's on the Mark Q. Down to 110. He was just standing still, however, so it was a fairly easy Sunstrike.
It's still important for IG that even if they take this harassment and get pressured a little bit, EG are not knocking down towers. Boboka has a point in living armor, so this mid tower is slowly getting healed up. And the game is relatively quiet right now, and that allows for Burning to play the way he wants, at the very least. Question is if this PA realistically will win this game with her farm and together with the Ember. If that core matchup is good enough, once the Slark obviously is... He's closing in on a Silver Edge, which we know is an exceptional counter to the Phantom Assassin. We might see Nature's Prophet get a secondary one later on. And a lot of pro players consider Invoker to be the absolutely... Like, if you could just pick any hero and have it in the ultra late game with full items and everything and have the right player on it, a lot of people say Invoker is like the best hero in the game. Late game, this hero just does so much when BKBs are low and you have like this massive array of spells. It's troublesome for IG to deal with that, I feel. So
I'll see how IG deal with EG's aggression. They 3-man smoked underneath their southern shrine, and now IG will actually smoke as well. They're pushing up to maybe wrap around. Samael is the primary target, and XXS blink in, lasso on back. They keep him in the Sunray, and Max Spirit committal, so Samael will fall. Rubik reveals himself by actually stealing an ability from down inside the Radiant jungle, but with the death of Samael, EG will not take the fight, and they will also not defend their tier 1 tower.
it's always a big moment and one of the most annoying moments when you're playing if both teams are looking to make an aggressive play at the same time and one guy is semi-baiting, but the bait isn't ready. Sumail got jumped 10 seconds too early there. His team wasn't there. So not only do they get that key kill, but EG's move also becomes obvious because they're not showing elsewhere on the map. So they effectively like made 2 plays at once. They avoided a play and made their own play here. And EG, like you said, didn't really get much out of this.
Boboka. He was on the edge of that dust. Makes a break for the tree line. He stole the bounty rune and will TP out. Slippery. I say little tree, but he's really not that little.
By the way, if you remember 10 minutes ago in this game, the supports of IG were clearly behind in terms of experience, but just this 1 kill on Invoker is worth a lot for them. The Phoenix is now level 9 and almost a half. Will be getting his Hand of Midas within a reasonable timing, I would imagine. I'm guessing that is what they go for. Treant is also going for a Midas.
Delay this game up.
I think we talked about it earlier that it seems like if you go 4 Midases or more, I think the teams with a lot of Midases, like that many, have a pretty bad win rate. 3 is like the soft spot.
EG's timing on this one. The Flame Break is going to push both Arteezy and Universe outside of Roshan. They were hoping just to snipe it out, but it won't happen. OP's pushing in the mid lane. The bottom lane was already being pressured as well, so Prophet's going out to defend that. So EG missed their opportunity, leaving Roshan a little injured.
Good read from IG, and I think if they were in a slightly better position and they're a bit earlier, they might have just been able to try to force a team fight in the area. They have all their abilities ready, but more than likely they're happy to just take it easy, wait for Burning to have the Deso, because then maybe they can snipe the Roche themselves. They know that this will be a very quick kill for them if they just have any sort of key information around the map. However, the warding for IG is only centered around their own jungle. They don't really have much information to go by as far as EG's movements are concerned.
EG at least had that one observer ward that scattered the PA rotating in. So they do understand what's going on, and Burning started it before the Desolator has arrived. So Arteezy, Sentry Ward is down, so if he wants to Silver Edge himself into the pit, it's going to be visible, and there it is. They actually see him running in. He'll get hit up by the Sunray, dropping down low. Searing Chains doesn't work. And with a jump away with Dark Pact, and Roshan now sits at around 50% of his HP. But EG's not fully committing to this. Like, they let Wrath of Nature go from Universe, but he continues to farm up on the bottom lane underneath the Observer Ward, which now actually sees a lot more because he broke down the tree line, and pressuring to the tier 2 tower on bottom lane, which is already down at 1/3 life.
IG can't go and gank him though, because then they're losing Roche, and they know that.
Yep.
So
Sunstrike.
Oh, nice kill. That might actually be the Roche here, or force a buyback if EG think they're fast enough. There is a gem on the Slark, so they will find the Sentry Ward now and get rid of that. And have a pretty good feeling about this probably, but
with the
Nature's Prophet is actually getting ganked right now, but it's a 2-man gank squad bottom. We'll get the kill.
Oh, where's your TPs? You got BTs up. In fact, yeah, they're all going to TP over to the Shrine. Phoenix can buy back if he wants to, but instead it's initiation jump over on Burning. Takes so much damage early on. Roshan outside the pit, wondering what the commotion is on his front doorstep. And really, it's just Burning dying.
That's just the weakness of his build right now. He's
oh, the shackle, perfect. The Sunstrike, OP's got no defensive shields. Oh, Arteezy has a double kill, and you want a ticket to go Roshan, both Ember and PA down. That's your ticket.
I still think Bad Rider might try to be cheeky here and try to steal it. realistically, this is not going to be successful.
They
but
don't have an
we
observer board to
seen
see him. They don't see around that side of the pit.
Oh, boy,
So
if he gets
Roshan's
this.
low. XXS has Flamebreak available. He's got to do it now. Phoenix jumps in the pickup. Telekinesis grabbed him. Arteezy picked up the Aegis Immortal. Will go into the Supernova. The damage, where is it? The Roots actually not letting them get the last hit off. So the Nova, it gets killed off before it can trigger. You still have the Aegis Immortal going out. So the respawn up for Arteezy, but EG don't really lose much beyond the Aegis.
They will be very satisfied with that. They're also going to get the mid-tier 1 tower. Ideally, they don't even lose the Aegis there, but IG went for a pretty good play with the Supernova and Overgrowth, but Slark just barely got enough hits off to break the egg. If that egg gets off, that could have gone really, really interesting for IG with their cores respawning shortly after. But EG cleaned it up in a good position right now. The question is, where do they go from here? I still think we're into this split push kind of game. I have a hard time seeing EG just going down the lane as 5-man and just try to push a tower. Slark is still not at that point yet where the hero just isn't comfortable with that playstyle yet. So they can just chill, control the map. And IG have to be worried right now about this Slark because they can't send their heroes out alone. They will get solo picked with a Sunstrike and a Wrath of Nature still. I think none of their heroes survives. Maybe the Ember if he has a Remnant out, obviously, but anyone else is a pick.
Yeah, that BKB needs to be done on Burning before he'll feel more comfortable. And Living Armor is being used primarily just to bring the towers back up to full life. So they don't really have that to work with either. And Sumail, like, he Sunstrikes down this kill, keeps getting more. He's 4-1-5 on this Invoker, has the highest net worth on the field, and is now building himself towards a Lincoln Sphere. So Batrider initiation onto the Invoker is going to become more and more difficult.
Bat is still keeping up a pretty good pace on his farm overall. Like, it's not ideal, but you can obviously deal with the Lincolns by using your Force Staff aggressively, and generally when we start seeing that being effective is when Batrider also has a BKB, because you can't use your Force to get out then you have to be able to sustain a little bit. So when that BKB comes up, that might be a play, but absolutely, I still think it's the right choice here from Sumail to get a Lincoln since there's not much else that can break it. I guess Leech Seed, and also Stifling Dagger and Phantom Strike, actually. But Burning doesn't really want to commit in on that Invoker. I think he's going to be in an awkward position unless the supports get in the first place. And more importantly, it's just about the split push, right? Like, Sumail is not going to expect to get ganked by the PA when he's out split pushing. It's more than likely going to be Bat plus a BOTing Ember.
IG's trying to prepare themselves for a fight. OP was just nudging out the bottom lane. He can still jump up to the Spirit he has near the tier 2 tower. But even the fact that Invictus Gaming, EG were all the way down at the bottom rune, and they still did not want to push up to that tier 2 tower.
They're not feeling comfortable right now, and they shouldn't. This is a very big lead for EG, as a matter of fact, right now. They're closing in on 10,000 on the gold and 7,500 on the XP. And I think just if this playstyle goes on, it will favor EG more and more over time in terms of the graph ramping up. I don't think IG's heroes will farm as effectively, and I'm saying that even with a Battle Fury PA. It's just that their side of the map is way scarier to play than vice versa.
Yeah.
Because all of the really good pickoff potential, apart from Batrider, is on EG's side.
Not to mention, I guess you want to go out into your own jungle, Universe continues to farm it up.
And then,
So
oh,
you
wait, where did the gem go?
Gem of True side?
Did he put it back on the courier, Arteezy? Where is it? Oh, they put it in base again. So they wanted to just have that gem for the Roshan fight, and now that they don't have an Aegis, they're not feeling comfortable in bringing out the gem. We might see them pick it up if they try to make a 5-man move a bit later, or a 4-man rotation with Furion pushing a lane. But for now, not going to be the case.
Best not to risk it. Now these ward positionings from IG in the laning.
Oh, bottom lane.
Yeah, Sumail BT'd in. He wants Bobrika. Bobrika doesn't really have enough life to survive it, however. The combination, too good and too easy for Sumail. And while he does that with no Treant up, the other 4 of EG forcing in through the top lane, looking for that tier 2 tower. There's only 2 remaining out of towers now for IG. And every time they lose this, they're slowly getting throttled back into their own base.
Oh, Burning wants some of this juicy gold. Got a couple. No crits, though. And now he's going to go for BKB.
Yep.
So when these BKBs come out, EG will hit. Invoker loses a lot of effectiveness when the BKBs are high duration. And that might be what IG are trying to wait for here. Get the BKB on Batrider, get the BKB on PA, and then look to fight. You still need to be a bit careful with just even the right clicks of EG are actually fairly substantial still. because Slark is as rich as he is. And of course, Invoker, even without a spell, you know, you got Alacrity. It's a good spell. Slark with Alacrity can kill a PA if he Silver Edges him first.
So how does IG actually approach the fight then? Or do they still approach the fight? Like, you have the BKB, it's fantastic. But do you just use that as like insurance so you can continue to farm up? Is OP really ready to engage before he has his Lincoln Sphere up? Like, yeah, Burning should be ready, but is that when you look at a 3-man gang squad? Like, you actually take the Bat Rider with the Phoenix and the PA and try and find an opening.
Yeah, it's a bit tough right now to see how IG set it up, just because their lanes are always an issue. And of course, having these travels on Ember is great, but he won't dare to push this out that far unless he has some key vision out. If he gets Shackle shot and Slark is there, he dies. The Orchid now coming out of Nature's Prophet is also going to be a problem for him when he's split pushing. And even when he has the Lincolns, he can still be in trouble against the Sprout. So, yeah, IG just look like they might want to make a move now. They're at least grouping up here. The Smoke of Deceit is ready on Q. I guess they will smoke here. Burning will get the BKB. So this is the timing window they were looking for. They're going to smoke here, I would imagine.
Yeah, but they have the Observer Ward, which is going to get de-warded. Arteezy was losing his ulti. So they understood it.
This is still a very good timing now for IG. At least, given how far behind they are, this is the best chance they've had in the last 5 minutes to take a good fight. That's how much this BKB matters.
But you just got the Lincoln Sphere over on the Invoker. Like, it just got completed before this push.
Well, are they going to be too late here? Is there a glyph? There is a glyph.
Well, they can delay it. Arteezy's actually got the Lincoln Sphere effect on him,
And
so
he
they're
has the
protecting.
gem.
They're protecting the Slark. But look at XXS all the way around the back. He'll jump in, but crit. He'll get the telekinesis lift. Not to mention the double stun on PA and Bovika. They were never in the fight. Supernova is down. Zai's trying to get rid of it, but it'll be Arteezy to finish the job. A 1-for-1 trade-off. Burning still looking for a fight. They find crit at least, and then maybe a Shrine trigger time. The Tier 2 tower remains alive on 28 HP.
He's going to heal it up. So that was a 2-for-1 trade-off where PA used her BKB. I would say overall this is fairly even, to be honest. Getting this PA BKB down is really crucial to EG. And I think the play to highlight here is Universe with a very, very clutch Orchid onto the Treant. Treant was super close to getting Overgrowth off, got Orchided, didn't use it in the fight, and the Supernova got destroyed.
Bat Rider's
Very,
on the
very
hunt
important
again.
for EG. Also, that fight could have gone very, very
Oh, the
bad.
jump up. He has Lasso, but he was hesitant, worried about the Dark Pact.
Bat Rider against Slark is always a mind game. It's like, do you think he has reacted? Who's really baiting who?
At that time, he actually hadn't. If he went for the instant Lasso, Dark Pact wasn't triggered.
He still needs to Force Staff first as well. And then if you get the Lasso, can you realistically pull him to your teammates when you don't have the Force Staff to bring him down? It's one thing to catch him with the Lasso, but the follow-up needs to be there. If they don't burst him in the Lasso, he's just going to ulti and run away. So, tricky. Oh, that ward did not work out. Oh, did it?
Oh, crit, the pickup, the throw down, Sunstrike, a little bit off the mark, but the Shackle will be on the mark, on top of Burning, holding him in the tree line, not to mention the trees of Universe controlling the Phoenix. So 2 heroes down, Bovika's on the run, Tornado will pick him up. The power shot won't connect, but he does take some fall damage, and with a gem on Arteezy, nowhere to hide for the Treant Protector.
Sometimes getting de-warded is a good ward. It was right under a sentry, it baited in Burning just to quell it, and they saw the opening on him. 2 IG heroes who were dead, arguably a pretty aggressive positioning from them, given that they were 3 on 5.
Burning's going to have to buy back.
And EG just pounced on it right away. This does not look good for IG. This game has been very underwhelming for them. EG, on the other hand, are playing a very solid game. That's going to be the Tier 3. Arteezy has a...
Oh, nice Tornado. It actually caught the Bat Rider. That's the Bat Rider who's the man holding that fresh gem. Crit will hold him even harder with the telekinesis grab. And buyback is out from Burning. Spirit jump forward from OP, gets Searing Chains crit in the tree line. He's still holding himself. Spirit's jumped in, looking for his damage onto the Ember Spirit. Won't happen when Burning is BKB'd up. But Zai, 20 HP. He's on the run. Burning has no vision of him. And IG have to worry about their home. The Tier 3 tower's lost in the mid. Tier 3 tower lost on the bottom.
That's such a big win for EG again. Like, even this fight, it looked like they could have been good for IG when they got that Supernova in the middle of the whole fight, but EG managed to disengage. Their heroes are pretty mobile right now. Windrunner has Windrun, Slark can pounce away, Invoker can blink or Ghost Walk. The Nature's Prophet also has a Shadow Blade. And at the end of the day, it's only Rubik that dies. And that Rubik traded his life for a Bat Rider and a PA buyback and a tier 3, so huge win for them. EG's advantage at this point is reaching a level that
20K.
I just don't really see IG's lineup being able to pull this back unless they get like this perfect combo with the like a 3 or 4 man overgrowth at least with Supernova on top and some sort of control on the Slark.
Man, you're kind of hoping that IG stole Ramsey's cake and then made the wish on it. Like, this is the only way this is going to really happen for them. Even the Treants are killing off a Shrine, which OP can't get rid of. Like, he doesn't have clearing, so Burning will have to do it.
Shows up with a 1600 crit, that'll do.
It's like living armor, get it back up again. Roshan is up and EG staring him down. But again, they don't want to really make any kind of risky kind of play, which allows Invictus Gaming a window back in.
I think if IG don't contest this Roche, they're going to lose a lane of Rax as a minimum.
They're not contesting, they're back, and they just walked underneath the Dire Observer Ward. So EG know IG are not fighting this.
I think IG want to go, but it's too late. They have the smoke on Treant.
Yeah. With the Bloodthorn as well from Universe, Roshan doesn't survive long. So do they come out and fight outside the base? Is it the last roll of the dice, understanding they're in a bad position, they need a good pick off?
I think so. I think if you sit in your base and wait, this fight is going to be too difficult to take.
But Arteezy's the frontliner. He's the only one at risk, and he's the man who's got the second life.
I'm not saying it's easy.
It's just Arteezy.
I just don't really see.
Well, there's an easier pick off. You've got Rubik to the right. They don't see him. Arteezy comes in close. Bopica gets a vision on him, but of course Arteezy knows that when his Shadow Dance wears off.
He's just going to back out, wait for his team to regroup. Of course, they can just send Nature's Prophet top. He's going to start some momentum up here. Getting some very nice levels, by the way, on this Nature's Prophet. He's level 20, Invoker is 23.
How do you even start up a gank? You can't keep vision. Every time Slark walks underneath the Observer Ward, and because Arteezy is rotating so much, they can't keep the obs up. That one Observer Ward, which is sitting looking over the Radiant jungle, has already been pinged. And as far as out of vision go, it's the tier 2 tower up on top and creep waves. It's the only thing that's really giving them vision outside of their own base.
I actually just don't really see the play for IG if they don't have a smoke. Are they out of smokes? No, there is one on the PA in her backpack. And as I said before, honestly, I think it's the only play. Like, you gotta go try for something here before EG make the move on you. If EG gets the jump, this is about as over as it can be. They're almost maxed out on the Invoker already, minute 34. He's got a really great inventory going here. Just the Midas needs to be replaced for another item. They have the Aegis to play around with, as you already mentioned. And Nature's Prophet is only getting bigger. He's got an item coming out here. What's that?
It's the Silver Edge.
So they have 2 of them against the PA. What do we have coming out on the IG side in response? The BKB on Bat Rider is still not there because he bought back to try and defend bottom. Phoenix never got his Midas 35 minutes in. Treant got his Midas, which has so far rewarded him a Staff of Wizardry. There's just nothing. There's nothing of value here. The Ember doesn't really deal good damage because his Veil efficiency is falling off. And apart from that, he has a mobility item and a defensive item.
Arteezy, he feels confident, but the Blink Lasso, remember, this is on an Aegis target with a Tornado from Sumail. It hits perfectly. 3 heroes into the Deafening Blast. Burning will be protected by the BKB. Trying to kill Sumail. Got 1 crit, but it still wasn't enough. Even with OP jumping in, his Lincolns will also trigger. So it's not safe to be on the front lines. And Q, he bought back. So there goes Phoenix's money down the drain.
Oh, a nice Sunray steal from Crit. It's going to heal up Sumail very nicely here.
That bottom Rax is gone.
They can't really go in without their Bat Rider, and he's dead once again.
So this should be mid-Rax as well then if EG just moves.
Absolutely. They lost nothing there. They're going to have all of their stuff ready again.
So
no BKB on Burning. He can't go in. He's going to die.
It seems optimistic for Invictus Gaming to even defend this one. If they just have to let it go for a better opportunity. Arteezy pounces himself away, wants to just regenerate up quickly. Thanks to nighttime, vision is low and he can actually do that. He's still got the Aegis the Immortal. We're only just over 3 minutes into that Aegis duration. So they move up, tier 2 tower, and this will open up the 3rd lane of Rax. Bat Rider is up, but Lasso is up in 2 seconds.
Safe and solid here from EG. I think they could have gone mid as well, but why not? Just claim the free tower, build your advantage even further. Now you can either keep IG inside their base for the next while and wait for another Aegis if you want. I think that's not necessary. Might as well try to use the one they currently
Oh,
have.
the
for a bit.
shackle, Zai connected. XXS, he also tried to go for the lasso. It won't work. Wrath of Nature killing up the Phoenix. Batrider's gone too. And Arteezy gets the bash onto OP, who has to spirit himself away to safety. Burning, he's going in, the BKB up. Gets the crit on Universe. Finally something going his way. Burning almost got 1,000 gold. That just shows you how far behind Invictus Gaming are. And Burning, he wants to go in again. Will he have enough? Maybe with the rooting. Arteezy on the front lines. Still with Aegis Immortal in hand. Buyback comes in from Prophet. The Sunstrike right in the money. Goodbye, Burning. No buyback available. This should be the game. GG is the call. Evil Genius in control.
Yep. They look very excited about that win.
Thrilling!
Ortiz is just saying, nice push.
Yeah, so another day at the office. Just
Very good game from EG. At the same time, IG honestly just falling apart a little bit. I'm a bit disappointed in this performance. And I so far in this tournament, I really haven't felt Batrider as a hero. It seems to have very low impact in all the games it's been picked. It might have won a game that I didn't see on our stream, but overall just very lackluster. Seems very easy to counterpick with cores. Like the Slark in this game, for example, had a great time. And IG just never really found the moves. And in addition to that, we were discussing this before the game started. Like, is Treant a good hero for Boboka? I think in theory it is. He's good with Ricky.
Yep.
It's similar in style with like roaming around invisible, trying to set up kills, get information.
It just doesn't pack that same like skill level punch which he brings with heroes like Ricky, like the Monkey King, and they had the options.
It's a different style.
Yeah,
it is a different style.
Yeah,
yeah.
I wonder the same thing about the Phoenix. I wonder about like where Invictus Gaming's heroes, which they dominated with so heavily on day one as well as at DAC, where were they for this one?
Let's find out indeed. Thank you very much, Toby. We'll come back, of course, to our commentary team for the second game. EG roll on, having a very good day two, an EG kind of day two, I guess you could say. They always seem to come alive once the tournament has fully begun. They lead 1-0. Let's break it down with Owie, Fogged, and Conrad. Conrad, we'll start with you. How do you assess that as an EG victory?
It felt super dominant. They got the heroes that they wanted. I think they got to execute the plan that they wanted. Sumail just went off that game, and they really did everything they needed to win that one.
Yeah, IG, what can you say about them right now? This is a team that a day ago we were waxing lyrical about, talking about them as the #1 team in the world, the favourites for the major. They've lost 3 games in a row, Owie. How has this happened?
I mean, I think it's a bit too soon to say they've been found out, but people are definitely finding weaknesses.
We don't want to panic here, do we? IG fans, don't want to panic.
Don't panic. No panicking. But people are definitely finding a hole in their strategy and exploiting that. I think what will end up happening is I think IG might lose out the series, but they'll go back to the drawing board, they'll find out what their weakness is, and they'll see how to fix that.
Yeah, and now that's the great thing about this team, the quality of this team, is that they'll learn far more from these 2 series today than they've learned in probably a month.
The one thing I will say, though, is Q is a very good captain. People forget, this is a guy who led CDEC to 2nd place at TI5. I don't know, everyone seems to forget that to me.
Yeah, no, I don't forget it, because Peter never lets me not forget it, because I think, didn't PPD say he was probably the best captain he drafted?
Q is amazing.
Yeah, that's what he said.
I guess it's because the other players are just so legendary in that team. But if there's a captain who can do it, I really don't think he gets the credit that he deserves. But if there's a captain who can figure it out in between just these few games, I think it's Q.
Yeah, and we get a day off tomorrow as well. The players can study games and practice and scrim and do whatever they want, but I'd imagine most of them will be reflecting on what's gone on during the group stage. And we're going to have a look at the highlights, Fog. Is there anything in here that you kind of pick out and go, actually, yeah, this was all right from IG?
Honestly, it just looked like EG had just such a better read and a better idea of what they needed to do in this game too. Like, Zai's movement around the map was almost like perfect. He got multiple 2-hero shackles. We saw one in the highlight right there before. He got one on the Ember Spirit. They get a nice combo on top of it. I don't know. It just seemed like EG was super prepared for this one and understanding how to play, especially versus Tree 2. They bought a very early gem. They put it onto Arteezy. He starts running around with the early Shadow Blade. Just had so much more. I felt like they had just had so much more map control as well. It just felt like a much easier game for EG.
Yeah, definitely looked that way on paper. I heard you 2 arguing about MVP on the way in. When I get to the point where we've walked for 30 seconds and you're already arguing about MVP, that says to me that this game was done and dusted pretty early.
Yeah. I think that we were saying what, like either between what, Zai,
Sumail, and
Zai,
Arteezy.
Sumail, and RTZ all performed at like perfection.
The
pretty
thing
much
is,
in this game.
the other EG players played well too. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
This game execution was so good from them that it's hard to point out a standout player.
Yeah.
I think we. Do you want to hear a choice?
Well, I mean, you can.
I think all
we'll
three
get
of
to
us had
MV
different choices.
Yeah,
you
well-
said Sumail, I said Zai, and you said Arteezy. You
Right.
know, and I think, to me, like, Arteezy had 0 deaths. Zai had multiple 2-hero shackles. You know, and Sumail just plays his Invoker the way he always plays Invoker, just owns, you know? It is really hard to, you know, select a single player here, and maybe it's more that EG as a whole is just playing super well right now.
Yeah, I don't think that's in the production system, so I don't know if we can give the entire team the
I'll say
MVP.
Zai.
But you're
I'll,
going to go with Zai?
I'll go Zai
I'll
as well,
say
yeah.
Zai.
Yeah.
I'll
It
say
was.
Zai.
I
it was
just think
hero
it's a
that's-
mark of how dominant EG were. That's what we're the biggest thing
It
we're
really
arguing
is.
about is who was the MVP of the game. We'll take you through the scoreboard. As you can see, it is a monstrous performance by EG. Well done to them. They have taken the lead in this game. It is a best-of-3 series, of course, and they are looking for a 3-1 advantage here, headed into the knockout stages. I think that would be a great recovery from yesterday, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think Crit would be pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
I think that he did a lot of homework yesterday, or last night even, to coming into this one just because of the way that he came in like drafting. They're not like picking one-dimensional at all. Their draft has a lot of variety and backup plans. Like this draft had push, it had deep push, it had late game potential between like the tri-core. It
Good
just seemed like a
counters.
very well-rounded draft, especially, and also not just well-rounded for what they had, but
Yeah.
into what IG
Yeah.
had, like the Slark versus the Bat Rider, Slark versus Tree. Just, yeah, very well executed and well planned out from EG from that one.
MVP for Zai in game 1. Another great game from the Swede to add to the many that he's already had for his EG team. They are hitting a bit of form at the right time as well. Do you think there's a little bit of fear in there? Pardon the pun, wasn't actually meant to go there, but there is a little bit of fear in the background of that whole what happened at Boston to them, in that they had a slow start, didn't do very well in the groups, and then ended up playing wings. And it's like, do you think there's some fear there that drives them on to go, okay, we need to get a good set of results done in the groups?
I just want to say, you clarified, but Coach Fear could have worked for that sentence as well.
I
Did
missed
Fear
one
drive
there.
them? He
I'm
definitely
sorry,
drove them.
I'm sorry, I did miss that opportunity, yes. Yes. But do you think it is? It is there in the background of their minds, and they're thinking, no, we have to have a good groups.
Which one? The coach or the...
Well, I think probably both, actually.
You don't want Fear to be mad at you.
No, quite, no.
I think EG is a team that does have a standard of expectation set for themselves, by themselves, but they're not... I wouldn't classify them as a team that also lets the pressure get to them.
Sure.
So
Yeah. No, they can have.
I think
they've been
it's more
there,
Coach
haven't
Fear driving them than the emotional fear.
They've got 2 fears now in the team. Wait, I'm confused. Are they twins? Are they? Right, enough of this nonsense. Let's take a social media question from our Reddit thread. Thank you very much for all of the questions that you popped in there today. And if you do want to add some more, please feel free to do so. We'll have them running throughout the tournament as well, but not tomorrow. It is, of course, a break day for the players and for ourselves as well tomorrow. Who is the better carry, Burning or Arteezy? Perfect question for this particular game. Let's go from left to right. Fogged.
Isn't that the left? Oh, I'm the left now.
Well, left
Stage
to
That's
left,
fine.
stage right.
Yeah,
I mean,
see.
I personally don't really like that kind of question. Like, who's the
I don't
better
care.
carry? No,
I
I'm
don't
not.
care.
I'm not
Answer it.
I don't know, Jesus. You know, you're so like attacking on me right now. No, I think it's. I guess like what would you define as like straight up carry? Like, I guess Arteezy. They've both been playing like super late game carries now in a way too,
Yeah.
like coming into this tournament. So it's. I feel like it's kind of hard to put that on.
All right, who's the better player?
Better carry. Who's been around longer? You know what? I would probably go with Burning. You know what? Honestly, better carry
Yeah.
player. Yeah.
Okay.
Arteezy played it. I think that Arteezy. I don't even know how you would answer this one. I would go with Burning just because he's had more experience. That's what I would go for.
Okay, Maui. Burning or Arteezy?
I think Arteezy has better mechanics. I think Burning has very good movements on the map. I think some of that's actually from Keel. It's like what happened with Aggressive at TI5. Keel was able to lead him there. But honestly, if I don't vote for Arteezy, he might hit me in my sleep.
Well,
He lives very close to
I
me
was
in my
worried.
city.
Yeah,
All
I
of
was
China,
worried
all
about
of China
this.
is gonna get really upset with you as soon as you go with Arteezy. It's like,
I mean,
oh,
no,
yeah,
no, I was about to say, how we're all from Vancouver. We got to support each other a little bit.
Yeah.
You know,
Canadian pride.
Ah,
Yeah,
see, that's what it is.
exactly.
Bias, bias again.
Yeah, you all met at a dog sled meet or something, didn't you?
no, I was joking earlier that all Canadians, we had a
I
dog
went
sledding
with it.
class.
As I was riding my
Right.
polar bear home, I saw Conrad on the side of the road
Did?
begging.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
And I
amazing.
picked him up and we became friends.
That's fantastic, because I heard Arteezy met you at Mountie training as well.
Yeah,
That's
standard
brilliant.
stuff.
Yeah, standard stuff
The standard
for Canadians,
Canadian
obviously,
life.
yeah.
I mean, for me, I think RTZ just he's so young, and there's so much more future out of him.
Yeah.
To me, I think that the potential is more important. I think Burning is obviously, like I said, a legendary player,
Yeah.
and they both clearly fit well with their teams.
Yeah.
But like I said, gotta support the local boy.
Is he?
God.
Do you think his stars faded a little bit over the last 18 months? Maybe he's not the prodigal son that he once was, and we're still waiting for him to have that big tournament, win a championship.
No, I think he might have been overhyped a little bit. I think there was a time.
Would you say
He's a good
little
player.
bit overrated?
A little bit overrated, in my opinion.
No. I mean, the biggest thing for me is like he was super hyped and he was talked about, and he did deliver. I think he clearly became one of the best and really changed even the way we looked at Dota at some points in the meta. But he's come back. He's become more of a team player. I think we're seeing him
Absolutely.
way more involved with EG and playing with EG and working with EG.
But I think you could say the same about Burning. Burning used to be this very independent carry player to be playing the anti-mages is very like kind of about himself. But now this new Burning that we've been seeing is very aggressive, going around with his teammates. That's teach the old dog new tricks. Burning's been doing it, so I feel like he's been adapting onto it.
He's only 28.
In esports years?
In esports,
That's ancient esports years.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
So what does that make you?
107.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it's all good though. I'm fine. I mean, it's only MMR, right? And I've got more MMR than all of you.
No, and one of the other things I want to touch on is that you speak about how Burning is old and is teaching these guys new stuff. We have Fear and Universe coming with this really really young EG squad, and hopefully being able to teach them new things. And I think actually a lot of these guys bring a lot of new ideas to the meta right now.
It's a very interesting question. I do like these kind of questions because a lot of it's opinion and feel and emotion and loyalty, obviously, with some players. But it's intriguing, I think. I just wonder whether we'll still be having these conversations in 20 years from now, and whether we'll say, these new kids now, they're not as good as those Arteezy and Samaels back then. They were brilliant. They can't touch them. It'd be great, wouldn't it? They're the older, future pub questions.
I hope to see Dota be lasting 20 years. I think that's going to be a phenomenal thing. It'll probably be some Dota X number, but maybe I think we'll be seeing some sort of form of this type of game.
Patch 47.03.
There's been 1,200 heroes picked on the first day.
The hero pool has widened somewhat from now. Yes, we're going to get into our second draft, of course.